How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to episode 2 of Just North of Hell podcast. Today I'm being joined once again by my co-host, James. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And today we have our first guest, Mr. Paul Kline. Say hello, Paul.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
So yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting.
Paul, we can plug your stuff at the beginning. We can plug your stuff. You got any Instagram, anything?
I do, but it's usually just for gaming.
Oh,
I don't have the largest following, but that's okay.
Well, that's all right. I don't either.
I like to stay low key.
I mean, I'm just a crazy hermit, so it's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is episode 2. Hopefully you guys liked episode 1. Listen to that. So we're going to try and get things a little bit more interesting. We actually have water now, so we won't have to leave out.
Yeah, and I won't have to ramble 10 minutes about what? Bullies?
I won't have to, wait, we won't have to use oranges to gain my thirst back like last time. That was terrible.
We're like living in a survival thing.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're gonna like talk about medical shit. I don't know, maybe phones because I got the new S10.
Talk about Robinson.
Thank
you for the correction.
Talk
Paul.
about PewDiePie.
Oh, PewDiePie.
He almost lost the war yesterday. 880 some subscribers between him.
Us 9-year-olds pulled it back because we were real men.
Damn right. I was listening to some bitch lasagna today.
Dude, that broke a record or something. It's like 150 million views. Like broke a record for a YouTube rap or whatever. Like a YouTube rap.
Bro. It's actually catchy. I won't lie.
Bitch.
Dude, you got to check out his latest story. Did you hear what happened today with the media with PewDiePie? He got blamed for the New Zealand shooting.
Oh, yeah. That shit was wild.
Well, I mean, I just know that the shooter is yelling, subscribe to PewDiePie, but that's all really.
Did you read his manifesto? I'll pull it up, actually.
No. Yeah,
it's like 87 pages or something.
James is like Just North of Hell podcast as to JRE, Jamie, James and Jamie.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, so.
New Zealand shooter manifesto. It's the 4th thing down. Yeah, you can continue wild.
Isn't it nice that we actually have a nice internet here for once?
No, I'm using my phone internet. This place is garbage.
No, it's actually much better now. I mean, I don't care. I could use my phone's internet. Got 2 phones of mine, an iPhone and a Samsung now sitting in front of me.
Phones.
So yeah, guys. So officially now we are a tobacco podcast. Paul over here with having a chaw.
He's addicted.
Hey man, Mama didn't raise no quitter. Quitters never win.
Spitters are quitters.
Damn, look at those peaks.
Wait, I don't think that applies here.
So what was this guy's manifesto?
You know what? The CNN's been flooding stuff, so I can't. Wait.
They're fake news anyway.
Because I see Washington Post, I see live updates. But they don't. Do they have a PDF? I'm just gonna look it up for PDF. Actually.
I really don't care. Right? It's no big deal.
Right there, PDF. Oh, there we go. Manifesto of Eco-Terrorist Monster. Meet the New Zealand mosque. ... Man, it's like a horror movie. You guys ever watch horror movies? Man, Pornhub's great for that.
I just remember the first horror movie I watched. It was.
No, I said horror movie.
Remember the one?
Horror.
Oh, horror. Horror. I didn't hear. No, remember the one time we watched Insidious back at Lainey's house?
Yes.
And Ryan was scared to watch Insidious, which was PG-13.
Remember how that one girl, I'm not going to say names because that's rude on a podcast, but you remember who, curly hair, really short?
Yeah.
You know, for some reason she was like under the same blanket with me. We weren't doing anything weird. It's just that like I'm comfy because I'm big and fat. So, yeah.
I doubt it was anything like that, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. I know it wasn't. I'm just comfy. I literally just said that to you.
No, I mean, she's cool, though. That was actually a fun night, though.
Oh, my God.
All right.
When you say something and someone's like, yeah, you definitely aren't that. I'm like, yeah, I just said that. Thanks for reinforcing myself.
I just realized this phone case, there's like this little tether thing. I can put like a little like lanyard thing around here. So I can have it around my wrist in case.
New Zealand mosque terrorist, because remember, CNN says that he's a conservative, right?
Well, how the hell do you know?
He describes himself as an eco-fascist who hated conservatism and admired communist China.
Okay, yeah.
That's a real conservative right there, boys. Allahu Akbar. No, he actually it's the opposite. So
is it still 49 people dead, or is it?
I don't know. I really don't know that much about it. And like all these news sources kind of suck.
But the gist of the story is that You know, I watched a
Subscribe
video.
to PewDiePie.
I watched a video today on YouTube, and several YouTubers have been totally dismantling the media's claims because of the simple fact. I mean, at this point, the PewDiePie T-Series thing is such an international meme that, you know, everyone says it. So just because he says that doesn't mean it's any connection directly to PewDiePie.
We said it. We said it in our.
Yeah, it's such a meme to me and James in our senior class picture, the funny one. I told you this already, but me and James held up a sign. You know, everyone else had like something dumb. Me and James literally held up a sign that said "Subscribe to PewDiePie." I mean, that's gonna be in the end of the yearbook, so you know.
They tore it down. I actually found where it was. They tore down the file.
Oh,
The title of his manifesto is "The Great Replacement."
Huh. I'm gonna run a timer.
Oh, there it is. Daily Pakistan. Pakistan's got us covered. Oh, there we go. The Great Replacement towards a new society. God.
Leave it to Pakistan.
Just gonna run a stopwatch. I don't see how long this thing will go.
Bro, you better give me the full PDF page.
All right.
Or
I don't want to get too depressing. We might be going down a depressing route, but
we'll get it down to real depressing.
I
route
just
with Paul
I just
here.
saw those 49 up again. I didn't see how many people were injured, but I would assume maybe
that
more
part of the
people.
story doesn't matter. Only thing that matters here is that he said subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah. That's. Oh, there's some dumbass on Twitter made some like just basically saying how fuck you PewDiePie fans. I'm just like
Yeah, it was it was actually
some dude from New Zealand.
Well, it was they said actually more came out about
fucking
it.
do that.
And they're saying that he was like a gaming journalist for like
Yeah,
IGN
that's what I think I
or
saw,
something.
yeah.
And they were saying that he probably did that because his account before he posted that was really low on like followers, but then after he posted that, he gained a ton of attention.
So he's what we would call an attention whore. Okay.
Yeah, he's chasing the clout.
Now he's a dead whore.
Yeah. All right.
I know the mic picked that up because I was working on my backpack. But that's fine.
It probably did, to be honest.
Yeah, we have it up pretty high.
Oh well. That's a pretty. Oh yeah, James moving his cricket bat over there.
Not so much for sound quality.
Yeah,
Dude,
James.
He's already fucked.
I pull
I literally just did this to the mic like 5
You,
seconds.
got,
I
you need to
pull-
hire someone for quality control purposes as well.
I pull into the freaking building. Paul and James are outside. James has this like wood plank that looks like a cricket bat, just walking around with it. Guy, we don't need to do that. Start slamming the table like Alex Jones over here.
I was about to do a whole Alex Jones bit, but I don't
Okay.
have the energy. That man is just insane.
So, yeah, Paul.
What
So
would you like to say about yourself first, Paul?
yeah, let's just give an introduction who Paul Kline is.
Yeah, intro.
Because we really don't know besides your guest speaker. That's all we know.
Well, I'm currently 24 years old. I graduated from St. Thomas Aquinas High School, just down the road from here.
Man, what was that high school like?
Oh, it was quite an experience. It was actually my fourth high school, and I'll get to that later in the story. But since this is just an introduction for now, I graduated from there. I went on to Kent State, graduated with a bachelor's degree in communication, and now I'm on my way to law school. And yeah, I went through quite the medical journey. It's been going on for 13 years of my life. I'll be 25 May 5th. So
Cinco de Mayo.
yeah, so literally over half of my life will have been through this medical issue that I've been dealing with. It's been quite a crazy ride.
Yeah, so yeah, you really have gone through hell and back, which is crazy.
Now you're back with us, just north of it.
Yeah, just north of hell.
just north of
Welcome
hell.
back, Kyle. Welcome back, sort of.
You're halfway back to normality.
Props to James with that great idea for that name of the podcast.
So let's go back to the beginning. So you're a young boy, right? About when did this all start? So you said 13 years ago.
So yeah, I mean, I actually started like getting symptoms and feeling sick probably when I was in like 7th grade, but we really found out something was wrong like through my 8th grade year. I was starting to get really bad, and I was calling off a lot from school. And then once I got into high school, it just took a real turn for the worse. I started off at
So what was it?
what
What did they think it was at first? At least go through all the different
that's a
steps.
whole different journey in itself.
Oh
so.
man, that's why we're here. We got
Should we
time.
be given? I'm just thinking. Should we be given the names of the high schools and shit?
I mean, it's too late for that now,
I mean, it
isn't
kind of is, but not really.
Because we didn't say the name
I mean,
last
really,
time.
it's public record. I mean, anyone can go and look at the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I'm sitting there saying anything.
You guys want my
matter.
social security?
Oh, yeah.
That's public record too,
But-
right?
I'll sell you guys mine for $1.50.
But yeah, so back to like when everything kind of started. So I started off at a school in Akron and everything was going great, and then right around the time when homecoming was, I had to drop out. Things were getting really bad. The school had a very, very strict policy on attendance, and
Well, you already said St. Thomas Aquinas, so
no,
already...
what? No,
No,
this
no, no,
was
we're talking
my
about-
first school.
Yeah, but like
Hoban.
we know we were in the area, right? So we can just say Hoban
Yeah.
because they did some fucked up shit for sure.
I mean, they did, and like I mean, like I said, going to be a law student, I don't want to. I don't want to make specific
Allegedly.
accusations. Yeah, we'll have to use
Allegedly.
allegedly because
Yeah.
just in case this podcast grows someday, I don't want people like
Going back to
putting them on
episode 1.
blast and then a bunch of
so
legal
wait,
stuff
you never
happening.
said what you have though.
So what I have is
It's complicated.
very complicated, and that is kind of its own story. So it's kind of like a multiple part story with different stories kind of intertwined, and that's kind of what makes everything so difficult. So going through high school, like I said, I dropped out. I started going to different hospitals around the country. I went to Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. I went to University of Virginia Medical Center. I went to UH. I went to Cleveland Clinic. I went to a bunch of places, Akron Children's. And it was just kind of crazy how everything unfolded. Like I had to do like a homeschool type thing through my local high school. And then it was really weird there too because should I say what Hoban did first and then kind of go on? Because that kind of, I found out about that at the end.
About them thinking you're dead or something? That or
Yeah.
a whole
but
nother story right
that's a spoiler, but I'll put that more towards the end
yeah.
because that's when I discovered
we
it.
talk outside of podcast, obviously.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of weird because going through Ritztown, it was really weird because even though I was enrolled there technically as a student, it was all through like home. So like they would send a tutor to my house and stuff. But what was crazy about it is like growing up in Ritztown, I had played sports with a bunch of kids that went to Ritztown. So when it was like my birthday or something, they would announce it like just like any other student at the school, but no one had ever seen me there. So I'd be getting hit up like, dude, where are you? Like, when'd you come here? And so then I went to OHVA. It was an awesome online school. They offered a lot of classes that the other schools did, and that was a good experience. I wanted to finish there. My parents, they forced me to go back to what they deemed a normal school. So then I tried to go back to Hoban. They wouldn't let me come back.
Quotes, by the way.
Yeah, had to air quote that. And then so I ended up at St. Thomas, and that was an interesting experience, a very interesting experience.
I love STA.
Yeah, I mean the teachers were very cool. They were very, very
yeah,
cool.
I'd say most teachers pretty cool.
Yeah, it was mostly the
that's the
students.
difference.
People are lame.
Yeah, it was mostly the students, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Great
So
teachers, poor atmosphere.
after going through that whole debacle, essentially what I was diagnosed with at the end was postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. It's called POTS.
I like pot.
But it was essentially like the reason why I had to go to the University of Virginia is because for a while. So first they thought I had a rare type of tumor on my adrenal gland called pheochromocytoma. Then they ruled that out. Then they thought I had, they were going through the list. I mean, I had hundreds of tests done. I actually had it counted up. I might have the list still at home. And by the end of it, I had seen like over 100 different specialists, been to 6 different hospitals. I mean, it was nuts. But yeah, and then they thought I had a pituitary tumor, and that's why I went to University of Virginia Medical Center because they're like #1 for that. Then when I was diagnosed with POTS, I ended up at UH. They had one of the few autonomic nervous system testing centers in the country because that's like underlying what's wrong with me. And then that didn't work, so I had to go to Mayo Clinic, in Minnesota, and they gave me a bunch of bullshit advice. I mean, it was just straight up crap. And everything was put on the back burner.
So when
until...
this like probably like your freshman year or sophomore year at this point?
No. So Mayo Clinic, that was right before St. Thomas. So that was like, yeah, it was probably like the end of my sophomore year. I ended up going there. They charged a boatload of money for me to go there for like a week. I met with a bunch of specialists, and then essentially all they said was, well, what you have is rare and it's severe, but try all this stuff out. And by stuff, they meant they gave me a bunch of pamphlets on coping with rare illnesses. They gave me some stupid CD for sleep hypnosis because, you know, oh, you probably can't sleep well because you're probably affected by this. So
think happy thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, and the really messed up part is even today, if you research POTS and stuff, there are people out there. There's this crazy thing they call biofeedback, which is essentially they hook you up with these like sensors and they monitor like your heart rate, your perspiration, all that. And what they do is they try to like teach you techniques to like naturally calm yourself down. And there's people out there to this day, despite all the research that has come out about POTS and how it is a real illness and how so many people are affected and it can affect you in so many different ways. There's people out there that still make a ton of money by saying, oh, well, just learn some biofeedback, calm down, you'll be all better. I mean, there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there.
POTS is the thing you're still pretty much dealing with now, but then there's the other thing with
forever.
Your nerves.
Correct. So essentially what it boiled down to.
I feel like the second one's kind of like the thing you've gone through worse, though, essentially. I mean, the one that you recently got surgery on.
Oh, that's a whole different ball game.
But like that's it
kind of isn't because it affects. See, the thing with POTS is, and the reason why it's so hard to diagnose is because you can be affected in a million different ways. Like so POTS is technically called dysautonomia, which just means a dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system. Just under that umbrella of diseases, there's like 13. Under those dysautonomias, there can be dozens and dozens and dozens of genetic factors, environmental factors, diseases, all kinds of things that can cause just one of those.
So basically what this disease boils down to is we don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
Well, yes and no. So like what's interesting is that the type that I have through testing, a specialist down in Texas has determined that I have a kind that is genetic, which is unfortunate because usually what happens is somebody finds out that they have a certain disease, which that's not good either, but it's better because they can treat the disease and the POTS will go away. In my case, my POTS is caused by some kind of genetic defect. So something within my genes is messed up.
You're defective.
Yeah, essentially. So, and what's really messed up is that they used to be able to find out the genes, that you had like a 70% chance through 23andMe finding what gene was wrong.
Do you know what side of the family this might be coming from?
It's definitely my dad's side.
Does he have it? Or is it like kind of like in him, but it just hasn't like gone in effect?
Yeah, he's been having a lot of problems lately, and we definitely think it's attributed. And we see several members of my family, they have symptoms, and they just refuse to get checked out. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, with the genetic thing, I mean, it's just what's really messed up about it, like I said, is they used to have a 70% chance of finding out what gene was the problem. And that's important because then they can go on for treatment. However, 23andMe recently changed their method of testing.
And did you hear the whole scandal with 23andMe?
They were selling people's information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good, but it's bad because now with their new procedures, it only gives you for POTS a 30% chance, and it costs a lot of money. So it's really not worth my time for a 30% chance when the specialist I'm seeing now really isn't too much concerned with what exactly is going on. She's more concerned with managing things.
I was going to say about the 23andMe, I'm pretty sure my grandma just did that like about a month or two ago.
Hey, move your mouse. And also, she is screwed.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons I could have had it done 2 years ago when they were still doing it the original way. But my mom, who's a nurse,
Yeah.
she actually had concerns about that. She said, "Well, they're a private company. They could sell your information for a lot
yeah.
of money." And I kind of thought she was kind of being nutty, but then like a year or 2 years later, it happened.
Because there's also Ancestry, but I'm pretty sure 23andMe is like the one that like.
Well, they're both.
They're all selling everything.
Yeah, Ancestry.com and 23andMe.
There's
it came
much
out.
data with DNA. Why would you not sell that?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you like spit in the little capsule. That's how it works.
It's a little vial.
Yeah, a little vial. And I guess
Air bubbles give you bad results. They tell you to shake it or something.
my
something like that.
grandma asked my
It's just
grandpa,
gross,
you know,
man.
if he wanted to do. He did not want to. He didn't want to spit in a little vial.
Well, the problem with it is that they can,
I don't blame 'em.
if in the future, you know, they can sell that information to insurance companies, and insurance companies can deny to cover you, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and the thing right now is, even if you know what part of your genes it does, we don't have gene editing tools that, at least we're not mastering gene editing tools that could help you. So who the fuck cares right now? Yeah.
Well,
you can always get it tested later.
Well, actually, what's interesting about it is, you know, I stay really up to date on the research on it, and the National Institute of Health, which is like the largest health organization in the country, probably in the world, but especially in the country.
Probably a little under WHO, World Health Organization.
Kind of encompasses everyone.
I think they're more government tied, actually.
Yeah, they are.
NIH is.
Yeah.
But anyway, they actually. What's that?
Oh,
Are we still?
yeah.
Yes, we're good. Just keep
Okay.
talking. Dang it. That was you.
Do you get your flash drive out there?
All good. Don't worry. Just keep talking.
All right. Just making sure.
So anyway, they just actually in 2016 they came through some breakthrough studies about genetics, and CRISPR and some other companies are
I
actually
love CRISPR. I want it so bad because apparently it's so simple that a smart student could use it, but so dangerous that it could cause entire species to go extinct.
Yeah, they're starting to do stuff with that, and that's probably going to be where the cure lies for me someday, is with genetic editing and genetic mapping.
Well, are you excited for that, or do you think it's just gonna fuck your body up real bad?
I mean, honestly, at this point, I mean, like, you know, I'm on a lot of pills and supplements every day. I got to take them around the clock.
How many?
Oh, God.
Tell us your routine for pills. How many in the morning? What times you take them? Go ahead. Give us the lowdown.
Well, let's see.
An old person thing. Well, at 8 a.m. I gotta take my biggest one of the day.
Some of them are pretty big. So, and this is the modified version. I was on a lot more, but I've been able to get off a couple of them. So, in the morning, got to take my fish oil, my vitamin C, my vitamin B. I got to take a Zyrtec pill. I got to take a Diamox pill. I got to take pentoxifylline. I have to take this stuff called Paracin Plus. I have to take N-acetylcysteine. I have to take ketotifen. I have to take, let's see. There's probably a couple more in there at least. And then in the afternoon, I got to take some stuff called TheraPH. I got to take vitamin D. Got to take the pentoxifylline and Diamox again. Sometimes I have to take another Zyrtec depending on how bad I am. Got to take another round of ketotifen. Got to take a losartan.
Wait. I thought the Zyrtec was just for allergies. How is the Zyrtec involved with this?
It all plays in like inflammation. So essentially, like the genetics cause all these inflammatory markers, and it raises the that's why people can have different symptoms with it, because like the inflammation can attack your pancreas, it can attack your heart, it can attack your brain. Like in my specific case, like on brain MRIs, a bunch of my small blood vessels are calcified off.
Oh.
Because the inflammation has shut them off. So I don't get as much oxygen as I need. But and that so
Deep
like
breaths.
well with the then what else in the afternoon? Got to take some N-acetylcysteine again. Then there's the nighttime regimen.
So you do have to get up like sometime like throughout the night, take pills, or you just like take something.
Well, technically I should, but
you need your sleep.
I modify it. So like what I'll do is I'll take my morning dose at like I sometime, depending on if I sleep in or not, I'll just take it whenever I get up. Then usually for the afternoon dose, air quotes again, I'll take that like 4 to 6 hours after, and then the night dose I'll take 4 to 6 hours after that. And then the night dose is pretty crazy too. It's pretty much everything else that the afternoon dose is, except I take a couple additional things to help kind of calm me down so I can go to sleep. I take like 3 other supplements.
So I heard you say it has something to do with inflammation, right? So like, now this is just me being a crackpot, like theorist, whatever. I'm just spitballing shit. Have you ever heard of like how different fatty acids can cause inflammation? Like for example, excessive omega-6 can cause inflammation.
Yeah, I've heard of that briefly.
Like, and like there's a bunch of different foods that you could be reacting to like allergically that could actually be causing this.
Right,
Ever
right.
tried think about trying like an elimination diet or something to figure out what's going on?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I had lost like over 35 pounds in this past year because I was eating only once a day. And essentially what had happened is they thought that I could have ulcers or something along those lines. Well, I had a scope done. They checked my esophagus all the way through my colon. They checked my whole intestinal tract.
In through your mouth, out through your ass, pretty much.
Essentially, like the whole thing.
That shit
And
is nasty.
they did biopsies
Reverse
and
prison
everything,
style.
man. And so essentially, what they found that things were okay. So my doctor, she put me on this stuff called budesonide, and it's a relatively. It's like a steroid, a non-inflammatory steroid, and what it does is they found in pots that it helps decrease a lot of issues with the stomach, and I went on that and it helped. But yeah, like when I went down to Texas and everything was like covered from like things like diet, things like exercise, things like the pills, all kinds of
So
stuff.
what have you tried with diet? Because I heard that those pills are very hard in your gut too. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be conscious. I mean, like right now, like I said, like the effects of the budesonide, they kind of wore off because I was only on it for a month. So, and you can't be on it long term or else it can have bad effects. So, since I essentially eat once a day again, like whatever I can get, I get.
Wait,
but-
are you doing like intermittent fasting on purpose or like?
No,
That's
no,
what that
I've done
is.
that. I've done that before. Intermittent fasting is pretty awesome. I've done that before, and it's pretty good. But no, I'm not purposely doing intermittent fasting. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole perspective on it, and every doctor has their own opinion. And I keep in contact with mine right now, and we go back and forth a lot, and agree on some things and disagree on others. And sometimes there's certain things that
So what would happen if you went on all the pills right now? What would happen to your body?
if I went
Overdose.
off all.
Like, if you just forgot to take them for like a couple days.
Well, it's not something like, I mean, you got to remember, I went like 11 years without anything. I wasn't really being sufficiently
So
treated.
you'll just be miserable the whole time.
Yeah, so what happens is, like I could miss a dose, it's no big deal. In about when it's time to take my next dose, I'll start feeling it. So like I'll start like sweating more, but I'll be like my hands and feet will be freezing cuz my blood pressure will start getting all messed up, my circulation. Then if I miss 2 doses, I could start getting headaches. And then if I'm totally off them for a couple days or more, again, it's like I get extreme brain fog, can't sleep, like sweating all the time, flushed all the time, ice cold hands and feet, poor circulation. I mean, it's just a mess. Stomach problems, heart issues. My heart will start beating like rapidly, then real slow, rapidly, then real slow. I mean, it's just a whole
So it's
host
like
of
you
problems.
basically have an extreme version of the flu, essentially, kind of.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because when someone is really symptomatic with POTS, they say that
I've had the flu for 11 years.
they say that it's similar to cold or flu symptoms, like if you push it to the max. But really, it's the danger lies in the progression. So now they're starting to tie POTS with diabetes, Parkinson's, ALS, and people with genetic POTS. It's not only the rarest form, but the NIH also just came out with a study saying that those people have the poorest prognosis.
You know, anything that causes massive inflammation throughout the body, because inflammation leads to a bunch of different types of diseases. They're seeing that like inflaming different things, like inflaming your arteries, and basically what leads to heart disease. One of the main factors. It's not like extra cholesterol. It's when these, it's when I'm not gonna say it because I don't know exactly because my brain is fogging up right now. But it's not traditionally what all these like what the health organization's saying, right? When you're going to these more private research studies, when you're like peer reviewed, all that kind of stuff, they're actually looking more towards other things that have a lot to deal with like the inflammation of the body, right? And specifically Parkinson's, inflaming different parts of the brain, which it could be from a genetic thing or from like food you eat throughout the years, right? That's why you're more likely to get it later on. Can cause all these different assorted diseases. That's why like I really think that I think you should try an elimination diet once, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I mean, I've tried several different types of nutrition tactics before. I mean, my
Have you ever just like limited it down to like one thing? Be like, hey, I know this won't hurt me, right? Like for example, like beef or something won't hurt you, right? You go on just beef and salt and water for like a couple of weeks. I'm not saying do that forever because that's tough. Like just a couple weeks, and then you add in one food at a time to figure out, oh, can I take mushrooms? Right?
Right.
Yeah,
well, that's kind of the thing that's tricky about this is because I actually went to like an all natural doctor. He was in Canton.
Can't trust anyone in Canton.
And he was one of these organic nuts, and he put me on an elimination diet. And what's funny is I brought up the budesonide thing because she said that people with these POTS-related gut symptoms, that is actually the standard protocol medically, is these allergists and stuff will say, try an elimination diet and all this stuff. But she also
said, an allergist.
She said that in my case, that's not going to help me. Certain foods can have more inflammation than others, so I have to watch it overall.
Would it be worth finding out? Like just trying it once, you know? 'Cause I heard it can help, like it can help normal people with symptoms they didn't even know they had, like you could be getting mild depression from different inflammatory foods. Like you could get like different joint pains. Like it's worth it just to try. Like, you know.
Yeah,
I'm about to try it in a couple of months here.
And I mean, like, I always keep my mind open. But like I said, I mean, unfortunately, my situation's a bit more complex because, in fact, she used the words elimination diet with the budesonide stuff. She told me, she goes, they're going to try this for you and it's not going to work because with my condition, see, there's these things called eosinophils with me. And what essentially my autonomic nervous system is so messed up that it sends these eosinophils, which are normally sent when your body's under attack. What essentially happens is
eosinophils are for? Is it eosinophils for parasites or bacteria?
No, they're like a type of like red blood cell or something. They're a type of like cell, and your body puts them out. And essentially, what's happening, one component of this whole big picture is that my body is putting these out regularly for no reason. So that's why the elimination diet kind of won't help me because no matter what I eat or don't eat, the eosinophils, which are causing the inflammatory problems, are always going to come back in big numbers. That's why the budesonide's critical because what the budesonide does is you take a month of that and it kills off those excess cells for months at a time. So
do you think that may like hinder your immune system in any way?
I mean, it could. I mean, the thing of it is that, I mean, with all this stuff, it's a big risk. But I mean, I just take it one day at a time. I always have a game plan. Right now, I'm working on a game plan. I always keep up my research, and I try to talk to as many people as I can to get a good idea of what my next move's going to be.
So, where are you at now with like your POTS?
Well, that's kind of the pressing issue at the moment. I actually just had a conversation today with my parents about it, and because I'm getting ready to leave for law school, it's going to present a lot of challenges because I'm not going to have the time or the energy to pursue it as aggressively as I have been. And I'm kind of at a point where I was supposed to be able to wean off all of these pills. It was only supposed to be a 3-month plan. Now we're going on to year 3. And I have went back and forth with this particular doctor over and over and over again. And like I said, she has been very helpful, but we've come to disagreements on certain things, on how to go about things. and we kind of have different philosophies. So I'm kind of at the point, because so much money has been spent on this and so much effort has been put into this, I'm pretty much going to make one last summarized game plan, present it, see what happens, and if I can't come to final terms on that, then I have a couple other places that I might be able to turn to, and I might just have to start all over again.
Well,
yeah, I'd say
like, okay, you go ahead, Mark.
I'll just say, like, if this doctor's not getting you, you need to switch.
Well, she's been doing it. She, right?
Yeah.
She's been doing a good job so far, so I wouldn't just be like,
Yeah.
get rid of her.
But if she's starting not to
Well,
get it
the
anymore,
frustration lies in the sense is that
you're stuck.
yeah, and like that's kind of my parents' point as well. She's one of the few people who's has made somewhat of a difference, and and I agree with that. And she's a good person; she has good intentions, but it's just like at the end of the day, nobody's gonna care as much as you do about your own health.
No, because it's not them.
Right.
Really.
So at the end of the day, I feel like I've pressed the issue on a number of things, and I've just gotten nowhere. And even when I've tried to be more laid back and more, I just feel like I get a lot of unnecessary pushback. So I mean,
you're going to law school here, right? And you're trying to be top of the class. You're gonna be working 60 hours a week at law school.
Correct. And that's kind of my fear is that,
you can't deal with brain fog, so you can't be weaning off these pills. Like you can't.
Well, the problem is that, there's other places that focus more on the genetic side, and that's kind of where I'm at. And I kind of feel like,
you're gonna try genetic modification in 2019
What do
with
you mean?
CRISPR.
Well, I'm just saying
it's not
Are
even
they-
there for plants yet. They're just testing it on
I know.
plants.
I'm just saying, like, you're gonna try to deal with genetic stuff in the next 2-3 years. Right now, it's very early. You're gonna be one of the first test subjects if you're really on the front for that. You could turn to like a zombie or some shit.
Yeah, but
Well,
do you
no,
wanna
I
be
mean,
a
honestly,
fucking
that wasn't my
test monkey though. That's the question.
I mean, that wasn't my first. I mean, it wouldn't be my first time. I mean, with my other issue that Marky brought up earlier, I mean, I was.
What was that other issue?
yeah, I think this is kind of something. I feel like would you say the other issue kind of has affected you on a larger scale? I mean, this one's kind of just like a.
Well, it definitely. My doctor's.
They're both large, but this
said
one's
my
kind of a
doctor. My
slower
doctor
one.
has said that it definitely made my POTS worse, and I definitely noticed more POT symptoms when this happened. And it's ironic because some people, when they take a nasty fall and have a head injury, sometimes that's how POTS starts because of the
you got
trauma.
a massive concussion.
So essentially, but it blew out a bunch of nerves. I had 2 surgeries, 16 nerves operated on,
Well, had
5
brain
taken
surgery.
out. No, not brain surgery. They didn't go through the skull or nothing. It's between the scalp and the skull. There's all these nerves, but
Dude, just go with the brain surgery. Make it sound cool.
Because they resulted from you playing football and lacrosse mainly back in high school.
that was the thing. So I had a fall, but that contributed to it. But essentially, what they said was because I had a history of concussions and everything else. They said without a doubt, one incident could not have caused all of this. That it was a succession of incidents that happened, and it definitely started with football. Then it got compounded by lacrosse. Then I had a nasty fall, and it just kind of snowballed on itself.
Like, didn't the doctor say? Because remember we were talking about this on Xbox, the one night. The doctor said that most people who go through this kill themselves in like 2 years.
Is that POTS?
No.
Or is this?
Well, what happened? So essentially, with that is again, it's another form of the nerves, but it's a different type of nerves. What happens is, so I had what was called occipital and trigeminal neuralgia. Usually, people just get one of those. Oh, and I had frontal neuralgia. So I had 3 types of neuralgias. If you look that up on the pain index scale, that is just one of those is super, super high on the pain index scale.
Isn't like the thing above it like kidney stones or something? Or like childbirth?
No, well, it always varies from whoever people get the sources from. But what he essentially said was, because he does a lot of research into this, what he essentially said is I desperately needed the procedures, and that people after like 6 months to a year, they typically get PTSD or they get deep depression. A year and a half, normally they're on like antidepressants or they're going to therapy or something. Then after like the 2-year mark is when things get really bad, and there is a risk of like suicide and stuff like that because of the chronic pain. So this was 2.5 years.
So you're a trooper.
So Well, I mean, I had, like I said, I had my goals. I wanted to do law school, and that was what got me through. I mean, I was pretty much in a complete concussed, just fog for a long time. But
Like, would you say you were at 50%, 20% you? What were you at?
well, I had to. It wasn't just him that helped me. I had to go to an actual doctor who, she learned about concussions from a guy who's in like Pennsylvania, and he does a lot of concussion work with like he's worked with Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins and a bunch of he helps athletes with concussions. And I had to do a lot of neurological exercises with my eyes.
Those suck, by the way. I had to go through those too. Those blow.
Yeah, and I went to another.
So bad when you have a concussion.
Yeah, I had to go to another person who was a neuropsychologist, and she tested concussion stuff too. And she said that I forget the name of the test, but she had me do this test on the computer, and she said that I had the reading comprehension of a third grader, and like so essentially I had to relearn how to read again.
How are you doing in school during this time?
Well, actually, that's the funny thing. So I pretty much knew it was like so I had to go through this with the end of my spring semester as a senior because I graduated in the fall. Then I had to go through a 3-class summer session, and then I had to go through a 5-class fall session all with this. So I knew reading was pretty much out of the equation. So I just watched a lot of video lectures and stuff, and I actually ended up getting 2 A's and an A minus in the summer session, and in the fall session I got 4 A's and 1 A minus. And the only reason why I got an A minus was because the professor, she dinged me on something really cheap. I had a doctor's appointment, and I gave her a note, and she passed back an assignment that was a draft that she had graded, and everyone had theirs back, and so they got to make all the changes that she said, and I didn't. So I had to pretty much submit a final version.
That was a rough draft.
Yeah, and she gave me like a C on that. So that brought me down to an A minus.
So
but
basically, what you're saying is you're an academic monster because you were able to go in there with basically a elementary school reading and still dominate.
well, I mean, it was mostly mindset and attitude. I mean, honestly, like walking to class was scary. I mean, I parked across the street at this one Methodist
You
church.
were driving.
And yeah, I had to drive. I had to do everything, man. I had pain management doctors giving me like these super strong like muscle relaxers. Like this was before my surgery. Man, I was doing it all. Yeah, I was doing it all. I was like stumbling, but what was I gonna do? I mean,
Get someone to drive you to school, bro.
who? Everyone
Get a
works.
friend.
Everyone.
Get a friend.
You gotta understand. A lot of my friends, they graduated a semester earlier. I mean, so they all moved away, but
So they want do you ever get people look at you and you're kind of stumbling around kind of?
Oh, I'm sure, but he didn't notice. He was in a stupor.
Well, I wasn't like staggering, but I mean, I definitely,
jitter.
but I just,
I stagger when I'm sober, dude.
I just had to focus a lot more, and it took, my coordination wasn't there. Again, that was another big part of the neuro exercises. I had to work a lot on my balance and stuff, and so.
Your eyes do anything funky?
Yeah, so a lot of my exercises were about the eyes and stuff. So, because
You get a loose left eyeball?
no, nothing like that. But no, it was pretty intense. But yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough. I mean, I guess it all came back to attitude and again having that end goal. I mean, the most frustrating part was going with both POTS and this head injury was going to doctor after doctor after doctor, and every time that feeling of anxiety before you go in the office, and you've been to dozens of other visits, and you know how this one's probably going to go, and it goes exactly as horribly as you thought, and then it's like, what now? And you have to do that over and over and over.
What they would say to you? What would they usually say to you?
Oh, well, a lot of these doctors, they don't they want you to come in there and they want to tell you what you're going to do. And that's actually not even how they're trained. They're supposed to have a discussion with the patient, and the patient's supposed to make their choices.
Yeah, but they get so used to people just listening to them.
Right. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because in another study I looked up, only 14% of people ask a question to their doctor when they go for a visit.
Really?
So
And
just
out
sit
of
there and
that,
listen.
and
All I do is ask questions. They hate me.
when they go, and then out of that 14%, when they were surveyed and they were asked, okay, so if you asked a question and your doctor was rude to you or gave you an answer that you weren't satisfied with, would you ask a follow-up? And only 7% of that 14% said that they would. So,
If they're rude to me, I'm gonna start grilling them because then they got something to hide. I'm like, why aren't you explaining it all to me?
Oh, that's how I got rid of my last doctor. He came in with an attitude, and his guys were the ones putting me on those muscle relaxers and stuff. And when I proved him wrong by going down to DC and meeting this surgeon and him fixing me, he was so mad. All he did because I had to go to him to get the stitches out because I came back from DC by that point. And all he did was badmouth the dude the whole time, even though this guy is like world renowned. The dude has an office in Europe. I mean, he's world renowned. And he's only one of 3 surgeons that does this. And all he did was bash him, and because he was upset because the neurologist he had sent me to was one of his medical students that he taught. And he said that, this guy's my number 1 student, best I've ever had. And I went to the guy, and he gave me a muscle relaxer that knocked me out for 2.5 hours. I woke up, almost missed class, and then I had to drive to school because I had several projects to do.
Dude, have you ever watched The Hangover?
Yeah.
They are muscle relaxants. They couldn't do shit. Like muscle relaxants are the worst thing you could possibly be on and try to do anything.
Right. But that was a situation I was in. Do I flunk or do I just try to go through? And thank God I made it through, because looking back on it now, I don't want to have I didn't want to have to. I mean, dude, 2.5 years later, trying to go back to college for 1 semester. I mean, if I was in that original mindset, because my neuropsychologist told me, she goes, I don't want you going back to college. You got to come back for 5 hours of testing, because this is the only test that Kent State will accept that you need help with a tutor, and then I can clear you for part-time. And I said, no. I said, I'm not doing a tutor. I'm not doing none of that. I just want to go finish. And thank God I did, because if I would have taken her advice, I would have had to go back to school for 1 semester 2.5 years later, and this law school thing wouldn't even be possible.
Damn.
No, not in the slightest.
So you're pretty much done though with your neurosurgeries though, right?
Yeah. That thing's pretty much. I mean, I'll always have residual effects from it.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm not the same as before everything happened, but at the same point too.
What do you mean not the same?
Well, sometimes my memory has greatly improved. But, as a backup plan, just in case, I keep lists of everything. I have my calendar out. I always keep everything.
Like greatly improved from what it was before or what it was after you clunked your head?
Well, you got to understand that when you get a head injury, no matter if it's a small concussion or not, permanent damage is done, and your brain has to rewire itself.
I know. Marky, do I know?
Oh, yeah,
your brain has to rewire itself. So you might be able to do things just as good or better as before, but in a different way. Your brain has to make new pathways.
Yeah, I know. I went through this all. I was I got a serious concussion. That's why I asked about the loose eye. It still happens when I get really tired. My eye drifts. Well,
when was your last big concussion? Probably sophomore year.
Sophomore year, and I was done with sports. Physical sports, no more. I was a big football fanatic. I liked it.
You didn't finish out the season, didn't you?
No, I was done. I was like, fuck this. I'm not risking the one valuable thing I have, which is my mind, right? I am an average football player, maybe slightly above average on my best day, right? But I am an above average brain, right? So why would I waste that?
That's the most messed up thing that I see. And when I drive past like Ritztown or something, and I see these kids that are like 6-7 years old, and I see these like dads with beer guts, like, come on, hit the hell out of them, and like these little kids are just bashing each other in the head. I'm like, you're like just abusing your kid at that point. Like you're just like you're before their brains even have a chance to develop, you're damaging them.
Well, I did that, and I'm classed as like a genius.
I mean,
so
those kids don't know any better. They don't know, like, if I hit my head this hard against this kid's helmet,
that's what I'm saying.
This is going to result in this with my brain.
Right, and I mean, when they see it, they see, I'm just playing a sport and having fun.
Exactly.
But they don't think when they're older. I mean, playing football was one of the worst decisions I ever made. And I remember my parents didn't want me to do it, and I did. I messed up my neck, I messed up my back, I messed up my head. And, even to this day, I go to a chiropractor weekly. I had, that was.
When did you start playing, like freshman year?
I mean, when did you start playing? Like freshman year?
Like freshman year?
I mean, No, I started. It was all in middle school, but that was you know, people, you know, they have like weight limits in place for safety reasons, but you know, parents would sneak their kids past, or you know, they'd have them like lose a bunch of water weight and then weigh them in right before the game. They'd barely make it. And okay, play. So and I was on the offensive line, and I was nowhere near. I was like 40, 50 pounds lighter than everyone else, but
I remember back in 4th grade when I first started playing tackle football. I'm a big boy now. I'm like 250, 240, something around that right now.
How's that keto diet?
Oh, it's going fantastic. Let me tell you, actually.
What was dinner tonight?
Dinner tonight?
Did you have dinner yet?
Oh, I haven't had dinner yet, but I'm going home. I'm making myself some all-natural, grass-fed beef ground burgers, right? I'm making 2 of those like I always do, right? I have some nice Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Now it's hard cheese, so I gotta grate it over. Ooh. And I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of mayo on it.
That's fine.
Not Miracle Whip, just mayo. Miracle Whip's got sugars in it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna go with the mayo, and then we're just gonna. I'm not even gonna put lettuce on it. I'm just gonna dig into that greasy ass burger with my bare ass hands.
Shit, I was still in the mood for George's.
yeah, man. I mean, I'm down to get something to eat
yeah,
after
I was
this.
gross.
I mean, Alex Jones gets steaks with Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
I mean,
we get steak
Bro,
on the butt.
I
We
didn't-
get-
yeah.
I thought I was going home after this. I'm excited, but you know what? I can go to George. You think they'll give me 2 burgers for the price of 1?
I don't know. I might have to use my
Wait,
lawyer,
what
my
were we
future
talking
lawyer
about before?
schools.
We were
in
talking
the
about football. We were talking about
yeah,
get back
that you
to
got
football.
that you
Yeah.
got hurt.
Oh yeah, like when I was a midget back in 4th grade, right? And I would always take on the bigger kids, right? But that's because I was insane, and I have a really high pain tolerance. So I would just basically I would destroy myself against the other kids, right? So I looked really good, right? And I think I don't know if that did anything to me in the long run, because I don't remember ever hurting really, but I'm sure that being a little guy and going against a 250-pound kid every day was not the wave, right? And then throughout middle school, really, it was kind of the same thing. I went to all these football camps. I was getting ranked in the state, like the 4th best lineman or whatever. Who fucking cares? But it's because I was just so aggressive all the time, right? And I was constantly working myself to the limit, right? Because I loved this sport, right? Because it was the one place where I could express. I'm a very angry human, so I have a lot of aggression, right? So this is where I could express all that aggression, right? And it made my dad happy. It made me happy. Everyone was happy, right? But things changed in high school. But sophomore year is when everything fell apart, because once I got the concussion, because I had 2 in middle school, right? And the 3rd one I was done, because it was.
So you didn't have any freshman year?
I may have actually had a 4th. I may have had one freshman year.
Probably
but
minor though.
I can't remember. I can't remember past sophomore year. Everything's kind of wiped. So everything's really blurry. The memories, I mean. But yeah, it was catastrophic concussion, pretty much. Like I couldn't remember shit for days. I was basically not myself at all. I think I told Miss Betsa. She gave me a paper, right? She asked me. This is allegedly, because this is what people told me. I told her, why don't you do it? And I was so nice to her. I loved her. She was a fantastic teacher. But I was basically, I lost my ability to draw for a year, mostly half because my hand-eye coordination, half because I was scared, because I was really good. So, and I constantly compare myself to I have high expectations of everything.
I don't remember you. I mean, I just really don't remember going through this, seeing you go through this stuff. I just don't.
Yeah, because I kept it to myself because I'm a man. I'm not gonna come and whine about it.
I'm
not gonna be like, oh, Marky.
Did you tell Brian about that
my
stuff?
My head hurts. No, I didn't. I mean, I said, yeah, my head kind of hurts when really I can't see because my eyes are going.
Well, I remember you would say your head
migraines.
hurts and stuff. I just don't really remember.
Oh
you,
yeah. I would describe it to Brian.
No, you never complained about though.
Towards the end of sophomore year, for example, we'd be in study hall, right? And I could feel the headache coming. It's like an aura around my head. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a fun one, right? Suddenly, my eyes would do some funky ass shit, like zoom in real far, right? And then I just get a stab in my head, and I'd be fucking down for the count, pretty much. I wouldn't fall over, but I'd be like, oh man, I can't see now, pretty much. like everything's blurry,
Right.
everything's dizzy. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, yeah, I mean, you kind of get a sense of when a headache's coming on, and there's so many types of headaches you can get with concussions,
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, that's like the point where you're like, oh, did people see you stumble around? So, no, not really, because you don't really. I mean, you look okay to everyone else, but
You basically just look tired.
right.
Yeah.
But inside, you're just a jumbled mess, and like
I couldn't even think right.
yeah, going back to your like memory stuff, like, just today I was watching a video like best sports moments, and it was showing like the Cavs winning the finals and the Indians going to the World Series. And I remember all those briefly, but that all happened right in the middle of when I was going through this. So
Yeah.
it was all like a blur.
I can't remember anything from sophomore year until the very end. Like really, I really.
I'm be glad sophomore year's a shitty year.
I really can't. Like you could start describing shit to me, and I can't tell you anything.
I'm
about
pretty
it.
sure sophomore year's the one year Brian had that party in that that like clubhouse in the neighborhood. Do you remember that? You and him wrestled.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, kind of.
That was a big
Yeah,
deal.
that was fun.
You
And then you
him.
rat us out to your father. Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't rat you out. I just
you
told
said,
him, look at this video of Brian and
he was such a square. He was such a square.
I was like,
I'm still teasing him about it too. You are a square.
so I sent the video to my dad, like, look at this video of like, Brian James wrestling.
Oh my god, it's violence.
And my dad just, like gets all worked up, like,
Like he always does.
he didn't get worked up, but I just thought it was funny too. So he sent it to, Brian's dad. And then that,
And Brian's dad came down all pissy, like,
Yeah.
because he thought I beat his son, right?
Yeah, that was one.
As soon as he found out that Brian won, because I was kicking Brian's ass, right? But you see, I'm a fat bastard, so I ran out of stamina, right? I'm strong as fuck. I'm fast when I'm like on my feet, but like I'm a fat bastard. So like 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the fight, I'm tired, right? And that's how he wins. And as soon as he heard that, he was like, "Oh, it's all okay now."
Yeah, that was. Jeez.
But yeah, no, like that was before the concussion too, wasn't it?
No, that was in the winter back in
Oh,
January.
fuck. That was
Remember?
when I was recovering, and I risked it all just to fuck with Brian.
That's crazy.
Nah,
man.
that was crazy.
Didn't I like rip Colton's leg off or something too? I remember that.
He like rolled his ankle pretty damn hard or something, and then I remember Alex was trying to fix him
Yeah,
somehow.
I get violent, so like I was playing violent. I wasn't really mad. I was just
Yeah, you guys are just fucking around.
I fuck around too much. But
I just remember Brian got really pissed off because
I gotta ask you something about yours because you have the most severe concussions of like you can get, right? So like, did you ever get like?
cut me off, okay, bastard.
Yeah. I'm cutting you off because you're boring. No, I'm kidding.
No,
bro.
I just remember Brian got so pissed because Joe and Sam were
they threw food
throwing
on the
food.
ground. I would have fucking killed.
Oh yeah, I mean I was pissed. I was pissed too, but it's like I'm not. This is no my thing, so I'm just.
You know what's more interesting than sophomore stuff? Hearing someone's brain bleed out. Oh man. Okay. Hey, did you ever get mood swings with your concussions?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd get like not only that, but even one step further, man. I used to get even total night terrors, man. Like total like PTSD flashback night terrors.
Because let me tell you, I had that too. I'm sure they weren't as bad as yours because you had the worst brain stuff I've ever fucking heard of. But like
Do I get an award?
yes, you get the award for most fucked up body. Yeah, like I just got really depressed and angry. Like I'm an angry person, but I'm like a happy angry person. Like you know what I mean, right? I'm just I'm not angry. I'm just aggressive, right?
Right.
But like I was just depressed all the time. I just wanted to die. I just didn't care about because the one thing I always relied on was my brain, right? I hated everything around me, so I just escaped in my mind and think about stuff because I love to think. Couldn't think, so I just wanted to die.
That's exactly how it is. Exactly how it is. And that's the thing that's really messed up too is that, I'd say that kind of stuff to my parents and they'd flip out, but it's like, no, seriously. Like, I never was actually
Like I was never
do
actually
anything.
gonna fucking kill myself.
Right. But it's just like, honestly, like, if you're upset or anything, I mean, normally a normal person can sit back, think about it, process that. You can't do that. You lost your ability to do that.
Yeah. So all you get to do is feel bad all the fucking time.
Yeah. And then when you're not pissed off, you're physically hurting because you have a horrible headache.
Yeah, and then you get to and then try to look at words. You can read at your normal speed for like 5 minutes, right? At least this was me. I could read at my normal speed for like 5 minutes, and then one of two things would happen. I either get a massive migraine, or I would get so dizzy, I would like fall out of my chair. Like it would be awful.
Yeah, for me it was like I could read, but my reading comprehension wasn't there. So I'd be reading, but I just couldn't make out what the words like meant together in a sentence.
Yeah.
See, mine kind of flickered on and off. Like everything was kind of flickery for me, right? And night terrors. I'm gonna describe mine, and then I want you to top it because I'm sure you can, right? So right after my concussion, right? I got the flu like 2 weeks later, right? Not a fun time, right? Concussion and flus. That's okay. You know what? I don't need to live anyways. But I'm getting these fever dreams mixed with concussion dreams, right? So the first night, I'm just gonna say the worst one. I'm not even gonna describe the other ones. I basically was fighting. I had a sword, right? Because I have this sword. Dude, I have a sword at
Your
home.
fucking cricket
I
bat.
have a cutlass. I have a cutlass at home, right? It's heavier than this, but and I had that in my hand, and I was fighting a giant metal centipede, right? And as I chopped it down, because I was winning at first, right?
That's fucked.
I was kicking its ass, right? But every time I chopped it, its little like segments would turn into smaller centipedes, and then like eventually they were just a bunch of tiny centipedes. I was trying to knock them all off, and like I could feel their like little metal legs piercing my skin, and then they went down my throat, and I could feel them crawling down my throat, and then when I woke up, I could feel the metal in my like I could feel like it felt like someone stabbed me in the throat like 1,000 times over.
What grade were you in?
This is like sophomore year.
Oh, I thought you were saying like this is like, man,
Nah,
like
this is
seventh
this is
grade.
this
Like,
is right.
jeez.
That's like 2 weeks after I got my concussion. Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh man, mine. It was
Praying mantis.
no, it was weird. Like I would like ever since my injury, like I get almost exclusively lucid dreams. So that just means that
Like
like
lucid dreams can actually be really useful for like philosophy and stuff.
yeah, but I mean they can be really really fucking terrifying too. So like
Yeah, because
well, it's also like
create your own terrors.
essentially like what happened to me is like all these different instances of like how you could die would play out. Like I'd have a bad dream about like me like doing like 70 on like the highway, and then all of a sudden I lose control and hit a guardrail, or I'd have a dream about like me getting like robbed and shot or something, or I'd have
Holy fuck.
I mean, it was just like it was like different instances playing out, and you just wake up and you'd wake up and you'd have like tears coming down,
Because you thought you
and
died.
yeah, and you'd have sweat. And I still sometimes I'll get one of those, and it's crazy because like you wake up and you literally just felt like you died. It's the weirdest feeling. Like,
Dude, that's what happened with the centipede dream, and that's what happened with the dream the night before, which I don't think is as scary. I got beat to death by faceless men who just kept respawning.
dude, there's actually a phenomenon behind that. It has to do with sleep paralysis, and that sounds different than what you
Oh yeah,
described.
no, I just
but-
saw something. When you are in REM sleep, your body is paralyzed and you can't do shit.
Oh, my dad has sleep paralysis, and he describes it as you can hear everything around you, right? You can hear the voices of me, Mason, and Megan talking to each other. That's my siblings, by the way, talking to each other, and but you can't move. And he says every time he has a dream, there's this lady with black hair and a white gown, and she has a knife,
Oh,
and she's
fuck.
coming towards him. Usually just sees her shadow, but if he stays in it for like too long, she's like right over him.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Like it's a whole phenomenon. There's actually a specific demonic terminology for that. I forget it.
He's just like eking. He's like saying, "You want to just if I could just move my finger, I can
Right.
escape."
But there's actually a really good documentary on Netflix about the sleep paralysis.
Oh, really?
And it actually talks about like alien like creatures, like faceless men. There's also like the demonic woman. That's actually
That's a real thing.
It's a real thing. I'll try to find it
real.
here.
No shit. That's no way.
No, it goes back like centuries.
Holy
It's
fuck.
actually a spiritual sign, and it will follow you because a lot of people. I've watched different documentaries and stuff on that, and what they'll do is they'll move or they'll think, oh, it's over. It will follow you like most of your. It usually means that there's like you're spiritually weak in some area, and it's like there's been people who have like almost died because like like your dad was saying how, if he stays in it long enough, she has the knife and stuff. There's been people that have woken up, like their partners have woken up and like seen them like getting choked, but like no one's there, but they're like gasping. Yeah, there's been people that have like almost died from that.
Like if you just touch him on the hand when he's like, I can almost tell when he was in it. And if you touch him on the hand, he like jumps out of the chair, like he's about to hit the girl. Like, yeah, it's so weird.
Oh, it's called a succubus.
Succubus?
Yeah, succubus. That's what it is. It's in ancient demonology. It's been going on for thousands of years.
Back when I was in 7th grade, 8th grade, I always talked about summoning a succubus because they're sex demons. Right? I mean, who wouldn't want a sex demon? So I played around with black magic. So I probably got one of those now.
Dude, it's crazy though because like there was this one dude who he was some rock star.
I just figured out why he has the succubus. Because back when he was younger, he did nothing but fuck chicks. Like I'm telling you.
They said that's what that could be a way because like there's this rock star.
Oh my God, my dad's cursed.
There's this rock star. And, of course, he was in this band and, he lived the typical rock star lifestyle. He, like, drank all the time, did drugs, all this stuff, and would always, hook up with chicks. And, like, he actually picked this girl up from this bar, took her back to his place and stuff. And then, like, as they were about to, like, get it on, like, her face, like, changed into something demonic.
What the fuck?
And then, like, he like ran away and like came back and like no one was there. So here like this whole time it was like his succubus like came to life and was like in his dimension.
I've heard stuff about that. To be honest,
if anyone's got it real bad, it's probably my dad because he fucked probably hundreds, right? I mean, like he did nothing but fuck. I mean, he fucked.
No, I've heard about that. Like supposed like demons or something like coming into the real world.
I heard about demons. I heard about like the aliens.
People like say like it's specific. Like people were like believe truly themselves. Yeah, that demon was fucking there.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of phenomenon about it. I mean, there's the black-eyed children. Did you ever hear about that one?
I have heard of that.
I actually go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
but I'll be back. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Oh, Marky drank too much water. He's got to go pee pee.
Hey, at least it's better than not having to use oranges as my only way to hydrate myself. I'm back.
Oranges that came out of my nasty ass.
But yeah, like talking about.
I'm so freaked out. Like God, all these germs.
But yeah, so like I guess it happens a lot in like the UK and stuff, or anywhere like that's older. You can see them, and sometimes even campers have had run-ins with them. So sometimes like you'll be like out in a forest, okay, and let's say you're camping. Or let's say like some people who have like rented cabins and stuff, they'll be like, it'll be the middle of the night and this is how the story goes. So you'll get like a ring at your doorbell and you'll open up the door and you'll see this kid and it'll have its face kind of down and it'll look like real pale and it'll talk to you like in a really sad tone and it'll ask you if it can come in. And normally they approach you on nights where it's like storming out and you'll be like, oh my God, there's like a kid. But here's how it works. And this has happened. If you say, yeah, you can come in and you let them in, they come in and then like they either attack or like they'll disappear and then paranormal stuff will start happening. So you're never, ever, ever supposed to let them. The best way to test it.
Look up at me?
No, the best way to test it is like if you see like a kid like out in the middle of nowhere approaching you and wanting you to let them like inside, what you do is as soon as you say no, what'll usually happen is they'll turn their head up and they'll usually give you like a real evil smile or something and you'll see like they'll be missing their eyes and they'll usually start like giving like you all these insults and saying all this like personal information that like no one else would know, but like using it in a threatening way and like. So, like, if you just say no, like, all of a sudden they'll just go nuts and then they'll, like, disappear or go away. But, yeah, dude, there's been all kinds of sightings.
So you know a bunch of this paranormal shit.
Yeah, I used to ghost hunt all the time.
Okay, so I had this recurring dream, right? And it freaks me out all the time. It's freaked me out since I was a little boy, right?
Yeah.
I have this old... Well, he sounds... I haven't really seen his face, right? But he sounds old.
Check out the background.
There you go. He's got the is that a demented nun?
The nun. It's the spinoff from Conjuring.
Oh, okay.
It's the prequel.
So I have this recurring dream, right? And it doesn't happen like every night or every week. It's pretty sporadic, but it comes back every time. It sounds like an old man with a raspy voice, and he wears a dark ass hood, right? And he tells me about my future. I'm not kidding. And
It's you.
And he's right.
It's you with your fucking Everlast hoodie you wear all the time.
I always wear black
Oh,
hoodies.
but you got the Adidas hoodie
I got
this
the
time.
Adidas on tonight.
Does he wear a trench coat?
No. It's a ratty ass hood. Like I don't know if it's longer or shorter, but like it's a ratty ass hood. But it doesn't matter. He tells me all about my future and calls me a little bitch. Like
Yeah, it's you. That's fucking you in the future.
like when I don't want to listen to him. Like this is me as a 7-year-old, right? And I'm like he started talking about my 40s, and apparently I get like depressed and my parents die or some shit. So I started blocking him out, and he started yelling at me like, "Oh, you're a little pussy about it. Oh, you're gonna cry." Like
Well, has he
piss your pants? Maybe no,
has
he didn't say that,
has
but-
he told you about anything like that, like about me, like about your teen years, like
Yes,
now?
yes, he told me all about my teen years. He
Did anything come true?
Oh yes. He
Oh,
said
fuck.
he told me this was when I was 9, and this is the time. The 9-year-old one was the scary one, because I went downstairs into the basement in my dream, right? And he's sitting
Like
on
your
the-
basement in your house.
Yeah. He's sitting on the pool table in my basement, right? He's sitting up there. He's got his leg crossed. It really like how I like to sit, right? And how I like to sit now. I didn't like to sit like that back then. But and I'm standing there, and he's like, oh, so you came down to see me, right? And I'm like, I don't remember why I came down there, but I was down there, right? So I'm talking to him, right? And he's telling me all this shit, and he discusses exactly, oh, you know that girl you like, right? You're gonna like her, and she's gonna dump you real hard. And she's not gonna dump you; she's just
I
gonna
know.
fade out on you,
I know.
right? So
You're talking about.
yeah, I liked this girl from kindergarten, right? And I liked her all the way up until like freshman year,
Yeah, you did.
right? And I semi dated her, right? But she kind of just faded out on me, right? And when that happened, I freaked the fuck out because like he like I mean like that he's right? And like a month after that, he came back, right? This time he was in my room, right? And he was just talking to me.
Does he seem threatening?
Not threatening, especially not at first.
Scary,
He
threatening?
just seems like an old man that really hates his life. Like he really just seems like an old man who hates.
Maybe
his
he's
fucking life.
talking to you because he somehow this is like you.
Well, he told me all about Mackenzie too. Like that was my next.
You
girlfriend.
somehow like communicate. He like somehow communicates with your dreams, so you like don't make the mistakes.
Yeah. Well, he just
Better start listening to this bastard.
he said
Maybe it's a clockwork elf in another form.
Well, he said to me, you know this, she's about to dump you. Like the month before she dumped me, right? You know she wants out of this relationship, right? And he just smiled at me, and I try to swing at him, right? And like I'm swinging at him. I don't know if this was in a dream or it was something in between a dream and real life, but like I'm swinging, right? And I'm going through him, right? Next thing I know, I'm like swinging. I swing off my bed, right? Because like I was really just swinging in the air, right? I was just wailing on shit. I break a lamp. Like I was going after this guy, right? Because I just wanted him dead. But like he comes like once every month. Like the last time he came, he was just fucking with me. He just started calling me names. He's like, oh, you're gonna fail out of school again. Oh, what a little puss.
there's stuff with that. Like, I mean, I've had this one. Like, it's not a recurring dream, but it's just like the same character, and it's been in different forms.
Well, it's always different. Like he just says like he's the
Right.
same person. That
Like
says shit.
like lately, it's taken the form of one of my aunts who I despise and no longer speak to. But
Why?
like, well, I notice like in a lot of these dreams and situations, like there's this. I can't really say it's one particular thing. It's more of just something that takes on different forms. It's like you said, it's real negative, real nasty, real
Well,
like.
he wasn't negative at first. He just seemed grumpy. He's
But
like, hey, you got to listen to me, kid. You got to listen to me good, right? And that's what he said when I was 9. The 9 was like ingrained in my head because that's also the one where I went la 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 la, right? But he's like, you better listen to me good, kid, right? And when he started getting my 40, he started la la la, and that's when he got mean, right? And kind of since then, he's been kind of like more cheeky. Yeah, but continue.
But yeah, like it's just kind of weird how. It's just kind of weird how, you know, I mean, there's whole things, there's whole like documented instances about stuff like that. I mean, sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. I mean, I know that, you know, like when I used to do a lot of ghost hunting and stuff, I mean, we encountered a lot of demonic shit on the Ouija board, and we had several like crazy
Have
experiences.
you ever been to Molly Stark?
I've seen it. I've never been there.
I
I
drove
went
past it
I
once.
went a lot to Helltown, but now they cracked down on it. Now anyone who goes there to ghost hunt, they give you a $450 fine. People from all over the world were going there. It's right up by like Fairlawn, and
Is the whole place abandoned? It's just really old.
so what the deal was is the town they cover everything up to make it sound like, oh, it's okay, but there's several things. So one, their cemetery is super haunted. Two, they have a church with a bunch of upside down crosses outside of it.
That's just St.
And
Peter's.
three, they have there's this closed down road, and that's where we had the crazy experience. It was it used to be this really dangerous road where people used to get carjacked a lot because it's literally just in the middle of these woods. Now it's closed down, and this like park took it over, and now it's like a hiking trail. But there's all these like abandoned cabins and stuff, and there's all kinds of stories about what people see. But we had a crazy experience back there messing with the Ouija board. Like we literally thought someone was there, and we saw someone. It was like with a cell phone coming towards us, but it was all black. But there was like a light almost in its hand, so we thought it was someone with a cell phone because it's private property technically. There's cabins like right up there, and the people were home, so we're like, oh shit, we got busted. Well, they come back, and like me, it was me, my one cousin, one of my former buddies, his girlfriend, and it was us four. And all of a sudden, the thing just disappears, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
Hey, would you be willing to do a ghost hunting thing one more time? One more time.
What do you mean?
You want to go try Molly Stark?
Dude, I mean, I love to ghost hunt. I've been to some really cool places. I wish. See, this was all before I had a smartphone, so it was back in the day where you got a new phone. Not everything exactly carried over.
Yeah.
So I lost a lot of good stuff. But yeah, dude, I mean, we used to catch a lot of good stuff, a lot of good cemeteries, all kinds of places. And you'd be respectful and stuff. And that's the one thing that's really messed up about it is because like we had someone chase us one time. We lived next to this one. He thought we were like vandalizing stuff. We never did. I mean, as long as you're respectful, I don't see why people have an issue with it. It's just that, I don't know, people freak out. They think you're going to go back there and like do drugs or break stuff or something. It's like, no, it's like, I just want to take some pictures.
DMT.
It's like, I just want to take some pictures, ask some questions, maybe whip out the Ouija board and, whatever.
Rip it out.
I was gonna say, like, back to the dream things.
You got dreams?
No. Well, I have dreams.
Yeah, dreams. Just a psychopath.
I really don't. My dreams are just very random. Like, I've had a lot of dumb dreams when I was young, but like,
Well, yeah, everyone does.
I've had like dreams like I've had one dream like my sister, she has like this little like doll, has like a ceramic face. It's like a little baby doll. I had dreamed like that thing was like 3 feet tall. And it was like fucking trying to kill me and shit in my sleep. And that like I fucking like fell off my bed and like my dad threw the fucking thing down the staircase.
Yeah, dolls are creepy.
Like, it's like one of those creepy like vinyl dolls.
Yeah, my little sister had one, and I every time because I used to hate that thing because I thought it would watch me.
Yeah.
So I would like shove it deep down inside like clothes bins. My sister hated it, but like if I left it out all night, I couldn't sleep.
Well, they actually say like
Even though we were on opposite sides of the house.
paranormal investigators actually say like dolls are one of the easiest things a spirit can attach itself to. Like it's because it looks almost like human like, and because it's such a like dolls are small, there's such an easy energy force to like overcome. That's why there's like been a lot of like hauntings of dolls and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I never understood the whole doll thing. I mean, I don't understand why any person would think. I mean, there's people that collect like hundreds of them.
Yeah,
like, that's
I don't
just
really get
weird,
it.
man.
Yeah,
that and those ventriloquist dummies, man. Those things.
Those are
fuck
the
out.
scariest motherfuckers.
Dude, there's actually this one museum of them, and it's rumored to be haunted.
Yeah,
this
I think I know
guy,
what you're talking about.
died. This guy died, but he had collected them from all over the world, and like the collection's worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But like
$100,000 worth of nightmares.
You walk into this room, and he has it set up like. You walk into the room and he has like stadium seating, but it's filled with like hundreds of
I've
these
seen
dolls.
that before.
Yeah,
It's not really that big of a room, but it's just
right. It's
You
not
guys
a big
ever
room, but
you guys
it has
ever
like
read
the.
Goosebumps as a kid? You guys
Oh
ever-
yeah, dude,
I never
that
got into
slappy
that,
Night
dummy.
of the Living Dummy.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
I know that,
that thing, like, dude, until a couple years ago, I saw that movie and I would never, ever,
Wait,
ever.
there was movies?
Yeah, dude, there were movies.
I just read all the books.
No, dude, what would happen is
they had
no,
it was really corny movies.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, but dude, that slappy doll scared the shit out of me, man. I never slept facing facing out. I always put my bed up against the wall, like whenever I'd move my furniture around. I'd always sleep facing towards the wall because in the movies, what he does is when people are sleeping, like he goes up to them like while they're sleeping and he like breathes this mist shit like up into their face and it turns them into a doll. So I'd always sleep facing away in case something like came into my room. I was always
lean over you.
Yeah, but I just like
Still.
chances. I like that thing freaked
Yeah.
me out, man.
But I remember after that one
shit.
dream, like us throwing the fucking doll of my sister's down the staircase. I remember I looked at the doll the next day.
To the train.
Yeah, I remember. I remember I just looked at the doll the next day, like I'm watching you, fucker. But I don't
Should've
know.
Burned it, man.
I don't know where the hell that thing is now.
It's called Melanie, my little sister's doll. It's still there. She still fucking has it. And every time I go in her room,
You still look at it and you're like,
no. I don't look at it. I don't look at the fucking thing. It like no matter where I fucking put it, I don't know if she moves it because it looks like she hasn't touched that thing in fucking years because it's dusty as fuck. But it always ends up sitting against the wall, fucking looking like just looking out in the room. So every time I walk into the room, just looking at me.
yeah.
Now it has like because it's this very high quality like couple $100 porcelain doll or whatever. But it has like dirt on its face now. Like it's like the face is slightly dirty because she hasn't cleaned it, right? Because I don't know if she just doesn't see it anymore. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but like that thing is fucking scary.
What if you ask her about it? What if you ask her about it and she's like, "Oh, I threw that away years ago."
No,
and it's
no,
just
no,
all
no,
like in
no,
your
no.
imagination.
Because I know she still has it because she just talked about it like a week or two ago, like that she still has it, and that she just saw it, right, like a couple days ago. But like the fact that it's always out, no matter how far I stuff it down into something, really bugs me.
Huh.
Dude, what you should do, I'm serious, man. This would test the theory to see if she moves it or not. What you should do is you should take it into your room and then stuff it like deep in your hamper or whatever.
That's what I always
And
used
then
to do.
then what you need to do is you just need to wait for her to like say something. If she doesn't if like a week goes by and she doesn't say something, that means she probably doesn't care about it and she probably isn't moving it. Then your theory's correct. And then what you do, that's what I would do, man. Just take it and see what happens, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if she notices right away and then she's probably moving it. But like if she doesn't even notice it,
Take it. I take it into my room. I wake up. It's sitting on top of my hamper. I would lose my.
or
fucking
dude,
mind.
what if like you put it in your like hamper and then you woke up and you're
And
like,
it's
where the hell
spooning?
is it? And it's like it's in your sister's room in the same spot it's always at.
No. What if I wake up and it's spooning me because it's dominant?
Jeez.
It's a succubus doll.
No, I remember.
Dude, I think that I've had sleep paralysis before, right? I didn't get any weird demons or anything. I just couldn't move, and the whole world felt like it was like I felt like I was seeing too much. You know, that's all I felt like. Like I felt like I was like I couldn't see shit. It was black, but like I felt like my brain was understanding shit that it couldn't understand. Right. So when I woke up, I was trying to remember what I thought, but like I couldn't understand the thoughts anymore. You ever have that happen?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, man.
You had the
Yeah.
image where you still don't understand like what the hell's
Like,
going on.
like not even like the image. I can barely comprehend what's going on. It was weird, but like.
I know what you mean.
Like it was like the same thing. Here's how I can explain it. One summer, I did nothing for 3 weeks but watch anime. Right. And look, dude. I had a rough time after sophomore year. This was between sophomore and junior year. Okay. No. This is between freshman sophomore year. I was a little weeb, but I got so into it that like I barely spoke to anyone else. That like I started thinking in Japanese. Right. Right.
What the hell?
So like I couldn't find any more subs, so I just started watching the shows, and like I could perfectly understand it, right? But then I would try to now I try to do it, right? I can't. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just a jumble of sounds, right? Like it's like I had an understanding of something. Now I can't get it. I don't know what that was, but sleep paralysis is not to be fucked with.
Well, I'll just say another dream I used to have, and this one was just
Welcome
very.
to the Dream Podcast.
This is one's just very vague. I just remember. It wasn't like, I want to say it was my basement stairs, but I was like looking down like basement stairs.
Oh, is this the one where you got the shadow that you were scared of for like 4 years? I remember you talked about this one time.
There's like it was like a outline of a figure.
Yeah.
It looked like a woman, but kind of like a woman with short hair.
Oh.
Completely
Sexy.
completely black, like if you got like
Are you racist, Mark?
No, it's just like
I was kidding.
you know what what's the one shit called that you know the super like black material. I can't think of like what's the word that you know what I'm talking about? They'll put it like on a car, but it looks like it makes it
Oh,
look too
Vanta Black?
Vanta black.
Okay.
I was on the tip of my tongue, but it just looked like this figure is covered Vanta black, but had like these little glowing yellow eyes. Just
Like,
looking
you
like
gotta remember, this is before Vanta Black existed, so like he's just comparing it to something.
yeah, like it was just that black. But it was like pitch dark in the basement, but I could still see that something was down there in this outline. It just had these yellow eyes, and just like would look at me. I'd just fucking just like look at it, and I'd close the door. That's all I
Just
remember.
two yellow lights.
Two-
It was really dark one night.
No, but I just remember I would look at this in my dream, and I could tell there was a person with these yellow eyes just looking at me.
Probably me in your basement.
Probably. But
Hey, Marky.
no, I really don't have any bad dreams to be honest. Like honestly, most of my dreams are just like recently. They're just more just stuff I just think about before I go to bed, and just bam.
You know that one girl he likes? Probably just wet dreams about her. I'm not gonna say names because you know.
Dude, you gotta send her this, man. So you're a big bad podcaster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just coming in his pants at night for her.
That's greasy.
But
I'm just describing what's going on, man.
no, just think about it though. Back to concussions though. I mean, this is a long time, but no, I'm not. I don't want to go back this, but I think I've had like holy shit. God, that was all delayed or whatever. You know.
Holy shit! I'm clipping that and using it as a soundbite.
Talking about a salvo of messages, but I think I've only had one concussion in my life. I remember we were playing. I think I was playing catchers up back in like grade school. I remember somehow like I got the ball, but I think someone might have knocked me over. I fucking hit my head in the concrete. I remember I blacked out. I just remember I just woke up. I was just kind of like laying on the curb. People around me. I'm just like, what the fuck happened? And I just remember I went to the doctor.
Blacking out's no fun.
And they're like, yeah, you got a minor concussion. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh my god! I just fucking remembered. Okay, so you know how I told you how I blacked out with alcohol,
Yeah.
right?
God dang.
Well, I did calculation. I should be dead, but the amount of alcohol I drank was retarded. but like that's besides the point. I like math, so I calculate everything. That's why I did the math. Anyways, I did this with a hangover, by the way. So during like I blacked out, right? And like everyone said that I don't remember this, but everyone said I started talking about quantum physics for like 4 hours. I'm not kidding. Like they said, you just kept going on and on and on. You never repeat yourself either. You always had something different to say. Like apparently I was just expounding all my knowledge on the quantum physics to them. They said when you finally went out, you did nothing but like squirm on the floor for like 4 hours. They thought I was dying. They almost called the hospital like 7
Squirming
times.
like you have a damn seizure.
Oh yeah, like they said for like 1 minute straight, I like spasmed.
Oh.
And, like they were like for sure. They were like half of them were like wasted too. The only one who wasn't wasted was Chandler. We'll have him on eventually. But he was like being the mom. But like yeah.
Well, shit, that's what they call him. The mom of the group. His motherly instinct kicks in.
Like what the fuck? Like and I remember I had a dream. I remember I had a dream when I woke up. I remember one dream I had there, and like I was like an animal. Like I don't know what the fuck I was, but I was some sort of animal, and I was running. That's all I remember is I was running. Like I was running after something from something. I was running. I don't know. You guys ever have a dream where you're not yourself? You're like a dog or some shit.
I've had dreams where like I could like fly and shit.
I've never.
I've had that too.
Or like I
lucid
jump off
dreams.
I jump off like the Grand Canyon or something, and then I like land perfectly without.
I've had
like,
dreams
getting
that
hurt.
I
That's
like
'cause you're a
fall
lucid
and,
dreamer.
and I've had dreams like I like fall and I'll be fine. But like I've had a lot of dreams that like I'll like be able to jump up, but like the more I'll jump, like the higher I'll go. Like I'll be
I'm
like,
probably
bam.
just a furry. It's
I'm-
probably what it is.
But like
wait, you ever have a lucid dream?
define lucid dream again.
Basically, you get to control the dream with your thoughts.
I don't think so. They're just kind of like it's more just kind of like a
See-
it's more on
see-
rails for me.
You're so lucky, Paul.
Maybe once or
Like,
twice in my
man,
life.
You're not lucky. The way you got it is pretty fucked. But like the fact that you lucid dream so naturally, you are so lucky. Because I only lucid dream one of two ways. I either induce it, or I'm going insane. Right? When I'm stressed out to the max and I'm losing my mind. Right? You see me when I lose my mind. I get
Yeah.
really smart but really stupid at the same
It's
time.
like stupid. You like
Yeah.
it's like an on and off switch. Like it's like you're constantly switching light. Like you'll say some stupid ass things, and the next minute you'll be like back to sophisticated.
Yes, well, that's my maximum insanity. But I'll lucid dream, and my brain will go wild. Like I will start doing physics in my head in my lucid dreams. That's what I use them for. It will either be I'm insane or I induce them. And inducing them is hard as fuck. If you were trying to induce well, you wouldn't have to. So you wouldn't. But you have to like focus so hard right before you go to sleep. And you have to focus in a way that doesn't keep you awake.
That's like with astral projection. I haven't been able to do that, but there's like all kinds of stuff on YouTube, like that have like the out of body experience where like
I've
you're fully
had
conscious.
that with my insanity. I have watched myself sleep for hours, right? And I went and watched my dad sleep. I watched my mom sleep. I watched a little bird in a nest outside
Did you
sleep.
watch Marky?
No, I didn't even
Fuck.
think about Marky. But
You went downstairs, raided his fridge.
dude, if I could astral project, you know I fucking would. I'm a fat ass.
Just
But
steal all of his food.
like, yeah, no, I don't know if that was astral projection or if I was just hallucinating in my dreams or whatever. But like I abuse lucid dreams. You should try abusing it once for like a problem you have
See,
and try to play it out, dude.
Maybe that's why you have that creepy old guy. Maybe he's getting sick and tired of you manipulating other dimensions.
No,
Yeah.
no. He came long before I ever had a lucid dream. By the way,
He's like, listen to me, cut it out.
you little bastard.
no. Like I didn't start getting lucid
Starts
dreams.
choking you with his mangy hoodie.
I didn't start having lucid dreams until like I was 11 or 12, right? That's because I started like stressing myself out about like all this stupid shit because I thought too hard about shit. Like for example, I was trying to figure out the fifth dimension, right? And not just mathematically, because doing fifth dimensional mathematically is easy, right? I'm talking about
it's just easy. Fuck it.
I'm talking about trying to imagine beyond the. So I was working on the fourth dimension, trying to imagine it in my brain, right? Not just in like a finite sense, but like in the full sense, right? And I would always give myself nosebleeds over and over again, trying to figure it out, right? No. It's because I think it's because I gave myself high blood
Jay's
pressure.
like calculate.
No,
I start writing down.
it's not like 11
why you
shit. It's not like 11 shit. But I really think it was just like I was giving myself hypertension, and I the high blood pressure and caused myself to bleed. I really think that's what it was. But like I drove myself insane trying to imagine it, and I think I did end up being able to imagine it, but I didn't end up imagining it until I was in a lucid dream. I was in a lucid dream, and I could perfectly imagine fourth dimensional object, and now I can just manipulate them in my head easily, right? It's just like imagining a three-dimensional object, but way harder.
Yeah.
But and yeah, I can only do it finite. In my dream, I could do it infinitely. But that's probably because I was in the dream, right? But like since then, I love to abuse them. Like every time I get one, I couldn't imagine just using them to like jump around. Like I couldn't even imagine that. Like it would be like I'm just thinking what a waste. Because one time I was a horny little kid. I started so I'm not gonna say that. I'll save that for a different podcast.
Greasy.
Like-
see, I read medical journals when I was 5. I was really into reading. I still am really into reading. Not as much as I was though. So I knew a lot about the human body, right? And I knew that you could stimulate the human body to cause orgasm, as it was called.
Yeah,
in the,
I want to know what
in
orgasm
the medical
was.
journals, right?
Medical. You're reading medical journals in the first
I
grade?
was.
I was reading back in first grade. I was reading fucking Treehouse Adventures.
Marky, was I a fucked up little kid?
Yeah, fuck yeah, you're a fucked up little kid.
My grandma was so impressed that I read these big books, so she would always take me to the library, and I would load up on like 6,000 page books, and I would like read them throughout the week, right? And I'd get them back, and everything from like physics, all this kind of shit. Like a lot of it was over my head at the time, like, but the medical stuff kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean that's like common knowledge for like most of my friends. Like Brian knew that.
Fucking human jukebox. Once you put the fucking nickel in him, he doesn't shut up.
You know what? Shut the fuck up. But basically what I'm trying to say is that I tried to use a lucid dream for like sexual stuff once, and all I could think about the entire time was what I could be using it for. And I'm like, fuck this. And I just immediately started imagining the solar system and
my
trying to like imagine the rotation of the Earth. Like, and because I wasn't sure on the exact speed, so I'm like trying to imagine how would that work in conjunction. You know, I could have just looked it up on Google, but you know, lucid dreams is fun.
all my dreams are just pointless, just fucking just randomness. Like
Paul,
something.
are
Like,
your lucid dreams important to you, or are you just fucking using the fuck
I
around?
mean, it depends, man. I've had really awesome ones. Like I've had really badass.
Have you ever had an awful one where you're chased by a stalker girl?
No.
James, I think you're talking about real life, my friend.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Same
dreaming about right
girl.
now?
Same girl.
Oh, she
No,
went
I'm
into your
dreaming
dreams.
about right now. I'm dreaming about getting a huge burger.
Nah, dude, that sounds
I-
good.
Dude, I'm like,
Fat ass.
I've been starving. The technical difficulties. I was hungry before I got here. The delays. I was like,
I had a fucking. I've been low key getting on this like type of like eating stuff. I've been
I'm
eating
not worried
fucking.
about uploading this. You wouldn't know why? Because what I just said, I said I was a perfect angel up until I said that one thing, and no one's getting 2 hours into this.
your
But,
next episode goes viral and everyone watches the previous ones all the way.
Joe Rogan's like, so do you guys hear about this new podcast that's like coming up?
Yeah.
Fucking just north of
some,
hell.
Some fucked dude talks about jagging off in the first grade.
dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm a fucked up kid. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, but my mom always told me I'm just smart enough to cause myself problems.
Yeah. I just say like the whole like first part of this podcast, I just felt like such a huge disconnect. Talk about concussions, all this shit, all this medical shit.
Bro,
like,
it's actually
I don't
all
know
connected.
this
Because think about it, we're dealing with sleep, which is deep mind stuff. We're dealing with his neurological stuff, which is
Oh yeah,
very
I don't
connected to mine.
understand
We
it.
got the whole poltergeist thing going on, which could be just hallucinations. In the
Yeah, I
mind.
can't relate to the topics of going through concussions, all this medical
I can
shit.
give you a concussion.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
you could
Yeah,
experience it firsthand.
hit me hard, and then in about 5 months we'll talk about this again. I'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Choke me out, Bravo. Choke me
But-
out. Fuck, I love Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, its comment section gives him so much shit.
Does he really?
Like he tried Chaw for the first time, and he's like, "I've never done this before," and
No, fuck you,
everyone
man.
was commenting.
He does
Joe,
DMT.
Joe, I never tried
Wait.
it before Rogan. Like they're all teasing him.
Guys. Before we get off, we're gonna have to. Me and Marky, have you dipped yet?
No.
You tried to try.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, come on, dude.
No, dude. It's a personal thing. I'm not gonna sit there and.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, even last time we were together, he's like, "Try the chaw, you pussy."
Nah.
Welcome to the
I
chaw
joke
elves.
around and I joke around and stuff like that, but I'd never be like, "Oh, hey, man."
What if I would have taken it that night?
Well, no, you like, whatever.
Fuck you, James. Mark, I must keep Marky's innocence.
That would be a funny sight, though. But
Well, I mean, packing
I
up
want to
dips.
see him. I want to see him full of chaw. I also want to see Marky drunk out of his mind, not just a bit tipsy. I want to see him fucking like, is he a cry drunk? Is he a sorry drunk? Is he a math drunk? I'm like a physics drunk apparently.
he has like one of those dry erase boards. He's like writing equations.
dude. I tried to get up once, but I fell back down and vomited.
James, June 22nd, we will find out.
June 20. Yeah,
I'm driving
Marky's
back for
graduation
that.
party.
I'm driving back for that.
You are?
And then we're heading in your car and going back to your place.
Yeah, as long as you get a ride back.
No, honestly, if I'm
Yeah,
gonna make a
no
prediction, I feel like I'm just kind of like really
Hey, Mark,
just
you
chill
wanna
out.
go in
drunk.
on an Uber with me?
Uber? No.
It's gonna be like,
A 2.5 hour Uber ride across the
You'll be telling the Uber driver about how you fucking blackout drunk. Like I was like screwing the ground doing all these like quantum physics and
Some
shit.
like
And
Pakistani dudes driving. He's like, "What?"
oh yes.
Like, you are
okay.
very fucked up.
I mean, he would be
Very
wrong.
fucked up blonde boy.
Hey, it's not my fault, man. I have mental disorders.
All right. Well, it's kind of late.
Wait.
I'm kinda-
Let me do the outro. You did the intro.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
I think should end this. It's what 9:48 or something. How
Yeah,
long?
we've been
I've been
at
timing
least
this
2
like.
hours.
Yeah, we've been here for a while. But thanks for having me on. It was good to be here.
Oh yeah, no
be
problem.
more than happy
Definitely
to come back
again
at any
sometime.
time.
Yeah, we've been doing this for an hour
Next
and a half.
time you come back, we'll have drinks. At least, if not heavier stuff.
some Mountain Dew.
No. I mean, okay, yeah, Mountain Dew for sure. For sure. If anyone's listening to this, we will have
Upgrade
just Mountain Dew.
Just Mountain Dew. But yeah, so we're gonna probably just be. Is that my phone again? I have no
Okay,
clue.
guys, that was it for the Just North of Hell podcast this week. Tune in next week when we try to
Do DMT for the first time. With
get over our godforsaken lives. What the hell's wrong with me?
so, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. And like always, guys, have yourself a fantastic day.